Okay, listen, I am not even going to do an intro. I'm not even going to edit this video, so if anyone's going to dislike this video because it's not even edited, I am sorry, but this is so urgent that I need to talk about this. I did watch the entirety of the Game Awards, and the one thing that I was expecting was Tekken 8. They made that very clear that they were going to talk about the game at the Game Awards, so that's not the shocker. What is the shocker is what's in it. And I want to watch it with you guys and then break the trailer down. Is that okay? Because everyone knows that I am pretty much a bit of a Tekken fanboy. It was my first fighting game since I was like 4 goddamn years old. Like, I played it since the PS1 era, and it's my favorite fighting game series. So it's like, of course, it being my favorite fighting game series, obviously, I'm going to say something about it. I mean, what the hell? Like, the third game is my favorite fighting game. Tekken 3 is my favorite fighting game of all time. So for me to see a brand new one and being the first fighting game to use Unreal Engine 5, holy shit. It looks really good. I'm not even gonna waste any time. Let's just watch it. Let's just watch it. Let's just watch it.
Jin.
さあ全人類よ、世界を闘争で満たせ。頼むぞ、風間陣。お前を殺し、全てを終わらせる。俺の血を引いていながらこの程度か。風間、俺はまた守れないのか。
もろもろのままこと罪汚れ、清めましょう。
Okay, that's it? Alright. We'll get to Street Fighter 6 later. I'll deal with that. I'll deal with that in a little bit. Okay. Holy shit. There's a lot I gotta say. I mean, I'm gonna go a bit off the rails. Bear with me because I'm trembling with so much excitement in my stomach. I just cannot fucking contain it anymore. Okay. Harada is clearly focusing more on the story than he did before. The last Tekken game that I had ever seen that focused so much on story was Tekken 4. Like, let's be real here. Tekken 4 did great when it came to story. But this game seems like it's going to have a legitimate story mode. Now, obviously, we got all the Tekken mainstays. It's not a surprise to see them back again, because obviously they've been in the series since the very first one. Paul Phoenix, Martial Law, King, Jack. So I expect these characters to be here. But look at the detail, though. Look at Martial Law. Dude, motherfucker looks like he looks so much like Bruce Lee. It's ridiculous. Like, I know that he's supposed to be a Bruce Lee inspired character, but he looks so much like him, and that's all because of how like powerful the Unreal Engine 5 is. Here, let's slow it down a bit. Let's actually slow down. Let's just slow it down a bit too, because we're also seeing some gameplay. Oh, and by the way, that's Paul Phoenix. If you couldn't obviously tell, it looks like he dropped his hair this time around. The last time I had ever seen him drop his hair down was Tekken 4, so it's not too surprising to see his hair drop like that. But still, it looks like rage arts are still a thing in this game, because it looks like rage arts are still a thing in this game, but it appears to be more cinematic, which I think is really cool. And Martial Law also has what? First of all, I gotta say this right. I'm gonna say this right now. Holy fucking hell. The redesigns look amazing. Like, I'm actually surprised. Like, you can clearly see that the characters have gotten redesigned. Martial Law's redesign especially looks really dope. Like, I love his redesign. Same thing with Paul Phoenix. Like, hell. Jack also got a redesign, which is fair. I expect that. You know, he's always redesigned with every game that comes out, right? But he's also carrying like a gigantic railgun. He's more futuristic here than he was in the older games. And then obviously you got King, whose design hasn't really changed much from the older games. But you know what? It's still damn awesome to see him here. But we can see how much better this game looks versus Tekken 7. Like, I'm actually really glad. It's, at least from my understanding, they actually rebuilt this game from the ground up. Like, it's from my understanding that as far as gameplay goes, they restructured the whole thing from the ground up. So it's not, like, exactly the same thing as it was before. Like, it still maintains the gameplay of what makes Tekken Tekken, but, you know, they wanted to make it more innovative. And I wholeheartedly admire them for that. So... look at the and another thing about these stages is that, look at this, considering what's going on in the story, it looks like it's more than just about Jin trying to find himself, and it's more than just about Jin trying to find himself and end the Mishima bloodline once and for all. It's more than just that at this point. Before, we just assumed that he just wanted to kill Kazuya and end the Mishima bloodline, but as we see with the trailer, there's a lot more shit going on. Kazuya is literally doing the same thing that Jin did in Tekken 6. He's literally causing war. You know what I mean? He's literally raging war against humanity. So now Jin not only has to kill his father, but he also has to save the world from being plunged into war. You know what I mean? So it's this. So I think this is kind of what gives the audience a good reason to have to root for Jin, because it's like he's not even. It's like at this point, it's not even just revenge anymore. It's also about saving the world for what he is about to do. So I would say in this sense, he's not even doing this for revenge. He's just trying to end evil and corruption, and is willing to use any means necessary to do so. So that kind of makes Jin more of a hero now, more so than an anti-hero. But I mean, he still intends to kill him, so that's kind of anti-heroish. But at this point, he actually has a reason to kill Kazuya, because he's a threat to the world, so it's like, you have to kill him. Please, if I'm wrong in my analysis, correct me. But that's what I'm getting based on what I'm seeing with the story so far. Okay? But we also see some bits of the gameplay, which looks really good. Like, obviously, it looks just like good old Tekken, but what's really bringing my attention is just how visually appealing the game looks. And then the stages are incredible. Like, I absolutely love the stages in this game. It's a lot more colorful than I honestly expected it to be, if I'm being honest. Well, it's not too colorful. There are some stages where it's colorful, but most of it's kind of dilapidated. It all looks like this, because I expect a lot of stages in Tekken 8 to look destroyed because of what Kazuya is doing. But it's so crazy though. Like, considering that the first trailer we saw, you know, Kazuya and Jin were fighting on mountains. Now they're fighting in the city, and I can only assume that that particular scene in the mountains takes place at the very end. So Kazuya this time is the antagonist, and Jin is the protagonist, which they've already been trying to do since the third game, right? So at this point, Jin has to kill him, because not only is he a threat, but his devil gene powers are also unleashing evil. But here's the thing. I noticed something about Jin in this trailer. Now, anyone who's known me for a long time knows that Jun Kazama is my favorite Tekken character. I'll even go as far as to say he's probably my favorite fighting game character of all time. I love Jun Kazama. Like, a lot of people really like this character just as much as I do, but there are some that hate him because of how he was portrayed in some of the games, particularly Tekken 6. But I feel like that's what gives him a very complex character arc, and obviously he had to learn from that wasn't the right way to handle it, and he realized his wrongs, and he's willing to actually correct those wrongs, right? So, to me, Jun Kazama has always been one of the most complex fighting game characters, in my personal opinion, and like I said, he's my favorite Tekken character of all time. So I love what I'm seeing from him in this game. That just only makes me even more excited to play the game. I'm actually glad that Jin is not taking the backseat. He's actually having the spotlight here. Because in Tekken 7, since that game was about Kazuya and Heihachi, Jin took the backseat in that one. He took the backseat in that one. And on top of all that, Lars wanted him dead for what he did in Tekken 6. So I was just like, what the fuck? Like, it was like you guys were about to make this guy the next face of Tekken, and then by the time 7 comes out, you throw him to the wayside like it doesn't matter, and you only make him become important to the plot at the very end. Like, come on now. But this time, he actually has the spotlight, and I love what I'm seeing from him. And it's fair to say that he actually has a bit of a... I think in this game, Jin actually is starting to learn how to control his devil powers. Because notice how he's using his devil powers, but he's not transforming into the devil. It looks like he seemed to have harnessed it. Hell, I would even go as far as say DJ might not even be a separate character anymore. It's probably all just going to be the same character. He's going to have both his normal karate moveset plus the Mishima moveset. And if that's the case, Jin might actually be the most complex character to play in this game. But look at this. Notice how when he hit Kazuya, right? Notice how he... Wait a minute. I'm not sure. Oh, he didn't hit him? I thought he hit him. Well, he did. Like, Kazuya's in a stun animation. So it looked like Jin hit him with an attack. Then it looked like he did like a dash cancel or something. And then used like a devil-powered 4-4-2. That's what that looks like to me. Oh, no, yeah, that's the part I was talking about. Yeah, he did 4-4-2. Then he did a dash cancel. And he kept the pressure on. Now, I'm not exactly sure what this move right here is. No. That's Kazuya's while standing too. That I know. I'm talking about this one. When he does that, he does like this claw attack. I'm talking like Iori Yagami style. He does like this Iori claw attack. I have never seen that from him before. That's clearly a brand new attack made specifically for this game. And then obviously right there, Kazuya still has his while standing too, which is to be expected. Oh, and it looks like he can also turn into the devil mid-game play just like he could in Tekken 7 under the Rage Art, which is pretty cool. But yeah, look at that. Jin, like, actually doesn't fully transform into the devil anymore. He still transforms into the devil, but it just seems like he has more control now. Or at least it seems like a little bit more control. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. I'm sure a lot of you have watched the video for this far for me to bring this up. And this is the part of the video I want to talk about the most. Take a look at this. Mother, I still can't protect anybody. So, I've watched the Tekken Bloodline anime. I'm going to say that right now. I watched the anime. It was fine. It was a good adaptation. I liked it. We will cleanse this world of its evil and corruption. All right. So, if you have no idea who that woman is, I hate you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't hate you. Okay, so for a small percentage of people who does not know, that's Jun Kazama. That's Jin's mother. She was a very important character from Tekken 2, which is one of my favorite fighting games, by the way. In fact, it was my very first fighting game, by the way. And Jun had an unknown relationship with Kazuya. No one knows the exact nature of the relationship. It's been assumed, at least as far as Harada is concerned, he said something about how Kazuya never really cared for Jun. But regardless, Jun still gave birth to Jin and still raised him as her son. And Jun is honestly one of the best mothers in fighting games, if I'm being honest. That she is one of the most selfless mothers ever. But Jun Kazama became an unexpected fan favorite character because of her appearance in Tekken 2. And what happened was that during the events of Tekken 3, she was protecting Jin from Ogre. But what happened was that when Jin woke up, she was gone. And for many years, everyone assumed that she was dead. Here, I don't know. I can't say for sure if Jun's alive or if she's actually just still, or if she's like a spirit. Because the way the trailer did it made it seem like that she was a... Look. It made it seem like that she was a spirit by the end. However, it's worth noting that you see her arm right here where she's kind of letting the bird fly on her hand. Now, this could have been from a past scene, but I like what Harada did with the trailer here. He purposefully kept Jun's status inconspicuous so that we would have to wait until the game comes out to figure out what's Jun's official status in the series, because we've all waited for this woman. I've waited so long for this woman to come back and to see her finally come back with a new redesign, looking beautiful as hell in the Unreal Engine, even going so far as to help her son save the world and shit. I'm like, I'm all in for this. We all waited so long for Jun Kazama to come back, and for me to have to see this shit makes me so happy. I feel like I'm a kid again, playing Tekken 2, sucking ass at it too, then playing Tekken 3, wondering what the hell happened to Jun, then watching the Tekken anime, also wondering what the hell happened to Jun, being excited when she was brought back for Tekken Tag 2, and now I can safely say she's brought back in Tekken 8, but is she a playable character? I don't know, but if she is, Harada, please! Anyway, sorry about that, I just had to let that out. I'm actually sweating right now. I just had to say that because just seeing Jun Kazama finally make her return in the series makes me so fucking happy. Like, I actually feel like I'm a kid again. Like, I'm actually flashing back to my younger years playing Tekken 2 with this character and parrying so many CPUs being a fucking nightmare, bro. Like, holy fucking shit, man. It's probably gonna be the same thing that happens in Tekken 7, where even though Kazumi Mishima was dead, she was still made as a playable character. So regardless of what Jun Kazama's status is in the story, I think there is a chance that she's going to be on the roster for Tekken 8. This means that this will be the first canonical title since Tekken 2 that Jun Kazama has made appearance in the story. I mean, obviously, it's also worth noting that this is her first Tekken game in 10 years. She hasn't appeared in Tekken in any of the games, at least in any capacity, since Tekken Tag 2. And even then, that game was non-canonical. So as far as canon is concerned, this is her first appearance since Tekken 2. It took over 20 fucking years for this shit to happen. What the fuck, man? I'm just impressed. I'm just impressed with what I'm seeing here. It seems like they're really focused on the story, and Harada is clearly trying to make Jin grow as a character. I love seeing his growth. Jun's redesign looks dope. The whole game, in my opinion, looks fantastic. The Steam page for this game is already up. When is the game going to be released? I don't know. They say most people suspect that the game's going to come out next year, which seems likely because we can clearly see we see that there's a lot of the game that's already seems to be done, but it's worth noting that a lot of this is still in development, so it's not exactly finished. But whether or not if we're going to get a beta remains to be seen. Okay? All I can say is that with Tekken 8, they're revamping the gameplay, which is awesome. They're keeping what makes Tekken, obviously, and they're obviously going to focus more on the story, which is impressive. If one of Tekken's problems was the lack of a decent narrative, and the only game that actually had good narrative was Tekken 4. So it seems like the narrative in this game is going to be a hell of a lot better, and Harada is clearly focusing more on the story this time. He's finally giving Tekken the narrative it so rightfully deserves, because the game has amazing lore. I love the lore of Tekken. If the narrative was done much better, I would go as far to say it's probably the best storytelling fighting game ever made. Like, it would honestly rival Fatal Fury, if I'm being honest with you. It would actually rival Fatal Fury. Because Fatal Fury was known for having a great narrative throughout the games. Most other fighting games didn't have that. You know what I mean? Most fighting games don't really do well as far as telling the story from a narrative standpoint. But with Tekken 8, they seem to be improving on that. And I am proud. Please, for the love of God, do not drop the ball with this game. If there's one thing that I'm very concerned about is that even though it's Tekken, it doesn't mean that it's going to come out the way most people probably want it to be. But the reason I'm hyped is because I played this shit since I was a small child. It was my very first video game that I have ever played, more specifically Tekken 2. So Tekken is if I'm going to say this right now, if it was not for Tekken, I would not be a gamer. Like, I'm actually going to have to open my heart up. If it wasn't for Tekken, I literally would not be sitting here being a gamer. Literally. Tekken is literally the sole reason why I'm a gamer. So, I owe part of my life to this series. Maybe that's going a bit too far. Laugh at me all you want. I don't give a shit. Tekken means a lot to me. So, I do not want them to drop the ball with this. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. But at the same time, I want this game to be the best Tekken game ever. I actually want it to be the best. Even though Tekken 3 is my favorite, I would love to see Tekken 8 top it. I actually want to see Tekken 8 top Tekken 3. And I hope it does. If it doesn't, that's okay. And even if it doesn't top it, at least have it be a fighting game that everyone, including me, is going to enjoy. Don't let it be one of those games where it's buggy on release and then you have to wait like maybe half a goddamn year to patch the game to fix everything that's wrong with it. I don't want that to happen to Tekken 8. Luckily, it's never really happened with many of the Tekken games, thankfully, but I don't know. I'm just scared. Anyway, that's everything I have to say. Sorry if this video went way too long. I just had a lot of thoughts on this. I'm a little emotional right now, if I'm being honest with you, because when I saw this shit, I mean, I was dead ass about to cry. Like, holy shit, I was dead ass about to cry. This trailer, it makes me hype about the game. I can't even tell you when was the last time I had ever gotten hype for a game. I usually never get hype for games. I'm actually hype about Tekken 8. Usually when there's a new game coming out, I'm usually excited. I'm never hype. This game, I'm actually hype. Because Tekken is my shit. Tekken is my childhood. Tekken is still a part of me even as an adult. And to see a brand new Tekken game as an adult too, at that, makes me happier than anything else that I could have ever asked for. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Sorry if the video went way too long. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And I'll see you guys later, alright? See ya.